Welcome. I just put some notes that you'll need later. I'm just going to reintroduce Michael. He's our guest speaker for today. He lives in the Pacific Northwest. He's worked in public health for the state of Oregon as an environmental and occupational epidemiologist for almost 3 decades. He's worked for the CDC on disaster epidemiology, where he focused on helping state and local health departments across the country in responding to climate and other disasters. Since he retired, he's focused on community organizing around the climate crisis and on environmental justice through local congregations like Havra Shalom, the Metropolitan Alliance for Common Good, Eco-Faith Recovery, and the Consolidated Oregon Indivisible Network. Michael, take it away. I'm going to go ahead and get you on spotlight with any luck.
Thank you. It is so nice to be with you this morning. It is great to see your faces. It is pretty early here on the left coast, but I want to thank you all for the work that you are doing. This is so important to mobilize people to recognize their power and their voice comes from their vote. It is such a critical thing to do for the climate, and especially it is understandable, sadly, that people who are really concerned about the climate can get really overwhelmed by how long it's taking to make change and think that their vote doesn't really make a difference, whereas that's the only voice that we have, both in a democracy, but at a local level, at a state level, and of course at the national level. Like you, I join in phone banking, I join in postcard writing, and I actually travel to other states to knock on doors in person, because I think that it is so important to do this work. And I wanted to say that picture that Pam showed of me was taken last week in the Columbia River Gorge, where the flowers now are blooming. But one of the things that I'm able to do to sustain myself in this work is at least once, if not twice a week, I need to leave the built environment and get out to nature. I need to be in where the trees are and where the buildings are not. Whether I'm within mountains, whether I'm in desert, or whether I'm at the coast, I find that I get regenerated that way, that just being with all of the life forms that I am struggling to protect and to help us all maintain is what regenerates me. It's what soothes and feeds my soul. And I hope that no matter where you live, and I see that people on this call live all over the place, that you are able to find a park nearby, perhaps your garden, and the vegetables that you may have growing, or the trees and flowers are something that you can go and be with and spend a few minutes and get the energy to rejuvenate yourself to keep doing this work, because this is important work and now's the time to do it. I also wanted to say that I find that working on campaigns and issues that involve people where they live, local and state issues, are so important, because that's something that oftentimes people can really relate to, and whereas they can't relate to the national level, it's so far away. But if we get them to commit to voting and making their voice heard at the local level, guess what? They're going to vote up and down the ballot. And so if that's what it takes to get them to the polls, then that's a good place to reach them. And I'm sure that you share this with them, as how this is the only way that our voice in a democracy can be heard, and that this is where we get to make our choices. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I've got to thank you for what you're doing, because this is so critical, especially in battleground states and in battleground communities within states, that your voices, your actions of phone banking can really, really make a difference. And so I just want to encourage you, and say, I join you. I'm not with you this morning, but I'm doing it locally here, and I'm getting ready to go to Arizona to do it again there. So thank you for letting me be with you today, and I really want to encourage you to stick with it, to be of strong heart, and thank you for making a difference. Yes. Leslie, did you want to say something, or is that just a wave goodbye?
I'm getting into Hub Dialer. I wanted to thank you, and I'm going to turn my screen and sound off so that you don't get bugged by me.
Sounds
Right.
good. Sounds like Mark might have a question. Go for it, Mark,
Yeah. Hi, Mark.
or when to say something.
Thank you so much for the work that you're doing on this and for kicking us off here. And I won't take a lot of time other than to say thank you and also to ask you the name of the mountain in the background of the picture you were
Sure.
and where you were, because I'd love to go to that spot someday.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So the mountain behind me was none other than Mount Hood, but it wasn't necessarily the view that most people get because I was on the east side of Mount Hood, north and east of there. I was at a place called Memaloose Hill. So Memaloose is an indigenous word from the Memaloose people. Actually, I guess it was also a tribal name. So it's up in the Columbia Gorge just beyond Mosier, Oregon. And the wildflowers right now are just in full bloom, and they are gorgeous. And they when you stand there, you hear the birds and you feel and hear the pollinators buzzing around. And it is just an amazing sight. When I was there, I was standing there, and there's an eagle soaring overhead. There were so many other bird species, woodpeckers, pecking for insects among the oaks that are in the savanna there. It's just alive, and that life regenerates me. And so, yes, Mark, I hope you can get out there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much. If you want to put that, what you just the location in the chat, that would be awesome before you go, Michael.
I
Okay,
can do that.
and you guessed exactly right. I'm going to jump into talking more about how we're going to do this and what we're doing. If you've been here before, there's no reason to stay around for the rest of the train. You can go ahead and do what Leslie did. But essentially, yeah, voters are the people who want to get elected listen to. That's it in a nutshell. Okay. Thanks again, Michael. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. All right. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.